Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Zacobia and I am a person that wears many hats, many titles, but the reason that you're probably watching this video right now is the fact that I am a breast cancer survivor and I love to share information about breast cancer awareness and basically just advocate for anyone who may be going through a breast cancer diagnosis. Okay? So today I am going to talk about the risk of alcohol or the link between alcohol and breast cancer. All right. So back in January, the Surgeon General released information that linked alcohol consumption to an increased risk of cancer. It was noted that alcohol consumption leads to about 100,000 new cases of cancer and about 20,000 cancer-related deaths each year in the US alone. Now, for anyone who doesn't know who the Surgeon General is, basically this is the highest ranking doctor in the United States that's in the military. And they are responsible for advocating for the American people, releasing information as it pertains to our health, and basically just help keep us in a position to where we know the most information that we know as it relates to potential health crisis that's backed by science and actual research. Okay, so with all that being said, if you haven't guessed it yet, then alcohol consumption is linked to breast cancer, okay? It's linked to a whole bunch of other different types of cancers as well, but for the sake of my channel and my video, I wanted to express the link or dive deeper into the link that it has to breast cancer, all right? So let's dive in. So there was a study done in 2019, and I'll be sure to link all the studies below down in the description. So be sure to check that so that you can read these actual studies and be more aware of this information that I'm providing. So in this study, it showed that alcohol consumption contributes to breast cancer more than any other type of cancer. It was something like 44,000 cases that showed a link between alcohol consumption and breast cancer. This is a serious risk factor, and it's one of those risk factors that is actually preventable. Okay. And I don't think that people are aware of it. I know that, look, we're going to have people who don't care, much like, those who smoke cigarettes, knowing that cigarettes lead to lung cancer. But I feel like for the vast majority of people want to know that alcohol actually causes cancer, that alcohol is actually linked to breast cancer. Because again, I don't think people know this information. I know that people know that it's a drug, but it's a legal drug. So if it's legal, then it can't be too bad, right? Nah, it's bad, and people need to know the link, especially if you have a history, and even if you don't have a history of cancers, it's still linked to it, and so it's information that you want to know. So, the more you drink, the more it increases your risk. There are other studies out there that actually shows this correlation that the more you drink, the greater the risk of the breast cancer is. So this is showing that, it's not the fact that you just drink, it's also related to the amount of alcohol that you consume, because the more alcohol you consume, the greater the risk. In the study, it showed that women, particularly more than 4 women, we already know 1 in 8 will be diagnosed with breast cancer. Well, the study is showing that basically 4 additional women will be diagnosed with breast cancer, simply related to the fact that she consumes 2 or more drinks a day. Personally, I decided to stop drinking years ago. And this was basically around the time when I got pregnant with my daughter. So naturally, I stopped drinking because I was trying to conceive and I wanted to have a healthy pregnancy. I knew that I would be considered advanced maternal age. And I just wanted to put my body in the best position that it could be to be able to grow a human being that I was, praying and believing God for. And so flash forward, as most people already know, I actually breastfed Matea as well. And so while I'm breastfeeding, I also don't drink alcohol. So then we roll into, me being diagnosed with breast cancer when my baby was about 9 months postpartum. And so I was still lactating, I was still breastfeeding, and still continuing not to drink, right? All right, roll into treatment and starting all of that. Well, I wasn't going to start drinking during that time because how I saw it is I was already putting one poison in my body. I did not want to put another poison in my body that I know that's damaging to my liver, to my kidneys, when they're already going to be taking a hit from the chemotherapy. It just didn't make sense. And so due to all of that, there was no reason to start drinking during treatment as well. And once treatment ended, fortunately, I was able to learn all this information that I am sharing with you now. And it just didn't seem like it made any sense for me to pick it back up. So I have not had a drink of alcohol for a very long time. My daughter will be 4 very, very soon. And so we are talking about, at least close to 5 years since the time that I've had a drink, because again, I stopped prior to getting pregnant, and it may already be 5 years, to be honest, because it wasn't like right before I got pregnant. I stopped months before I got pregnant, again, to put my body in the best position that it could be to have a healthy child. Okay, so what else do we know, or what do we know specifically? What is the science showing? Science is showing that alcohol actually damages our DNA. This damaged DNA then leads to rapidly growing, mutating cells that then turn into cancer. All right. Alcohol also increases inflammation in the body. That also leads to damaging the DNA, which then leads to, like I said, rapidly growing cells that mutate and eventually turn into cancer cells. Okay, so we also know that alcohol disrupts hormone levels. And this is particularly when it comes to like estrogen levels. Alcohol is known to increase estrogen positive breast cancers by about 35%. And it also increases estrogen negative type breast cancers by about 28%. And so, unfortunately, it doesn't matter if it's ER positive or ER negative. If you're an alcohol drinker and someone who drinks regularly and someone who consumes multiple drinks, then it could be related to the alcohol consumption, unfortunately. Lastly, we know that alcohol makes your body more prone to absorbing cancer-causing environmental things, basically carcinogens. And so knowing that it, causes inflammation, it, damages your DNA, and it makes you more prone to carcinogens from your environment, that is basically a recipe for some type of cancer to form in your body. And like I said, unfortunately, as it relates to, the information that I'm providing, it definitely makes it a recipe for increasing your risk for breast cancer. Another thing to keep in mind, which I actually just discovered, is that those that are taking hormone replacement therapy, well, if you're taking hormone replacement therapy and drinking alcohol, then you're increasing your chance of cancer even more. And so there's all this controversy over hormone replacement therapy anyway, and it's linked to, potential cancers and things like that. Well, again, if you're taking the hormone replacement therapy and drinking alcohol, then you're greatly increasing that chance. And the more alcohol you're consuming, the greater you're running that percentage up of developing a potential breast cancer. So again, this is a big deal, y'all. The sad thing about this, or the thing that we're like, man, this is so unfortunate, is the fact that this has been known for years and there's no warning on the label. And actually, this is what the Surgeon General, when he released the statement back in January, this is what the Surgeon General is pushing for, that we need to update our labels to show that it does or could potentially cause cancer for those who are consuming it. And so this has been known since 1988. The World Health Organization, WHO, released that it is known, alcohol is known to be a carcinogen back in 1988. And again, this is not labeled anywhere. My time, I was born in, the 80s, and my time growing up, I don't remember seeing any warning. I don't remember seeing any commercials about the fact that consuming alcohol actually causes cancer. We see all these things that come out about cigarettes. Well, we need things that come out about alcohol as well. Now, I don't know if and when this will be added to a label. I don't know how and what, will go into effect to even get this push. But again, I think it's important for those to know, what it is that they're putting in their body. And we know that, why it's probably going to be something that's hard and challenging for them to get is because, alcohol basically, or alcohol sales, especially in the US, it's $1 billion industry. And so, if that doesn't tell you anything right there, that you already know that's why no one is pushing, to put out this information that, hey, you're having a drink, and it's any kind of drink, guys. It's not just liquor. It's not just beer. It is beer. It is wine. It is liquor. So all of it is in the same boat together that it could potentially cause cancer. And it's important for women to know that it is linked to breast cancer. But nobody's going to put that information out there. If it's $1 billion industry, you have to seek and learn this information for yourself. The other thing that's misleading, or that I find misleading, is the fact that most healthcare providers encourage people to have at least 1 glass of wine a day because it's shown to lower your heart risk or improve your overall heart health. Well, that same 1 glass of wine a day, it may improve your heart health, but then it's putting you at risk for breast cancer. And so, I think that there are other ways to improve your heart health than just sitting there having a glass of wine. And, for me personally, I know that I can, go running. I know that I can eat better and things like that. And so I think a lot of other people may want to know that as well, that, maybe they want to target, improving their heart health by doing something else that doesn't actually lead to them potentially developing breast cancer. Okay. It's a whammy, and we got to figure that out. I know that we want to believe that, when we hear alcohol consumption and the link to breast cancer, I know that we want to believe that this is like, oh man, these are the heavy drinkers. These are, the alcoholics that are, have the greater risk. But that's not the case. If you've been listening to anything that I've been saying, it's not just heavy drinkers. There's another study that's out that showed that 17% of those alcohol consumption related breast cancers were actually linked to those who did not consume 1 glass of wine or 1 beer a day. They actually were linked to those that consume a lesser amount of alcohol over their time. And so we know that it's just, it doesn't matter how much it is, like as small as that glass may seem, as little as the amount may seem, because again, even when I used to drink, I wasn't a person that drank anything every day. I wasn't a wine drinker every day. I would have considered myself an occasional drinker. Well, knowing what I know now, even being someone that drinks occasionally at a party, at a holiday event or whatever, I'm still putting myself at a greater risk of developing breast cancer. So listen, I know that this is not going to be information that is going to be very popular or anything like that. And I am not here to tell anyone what to do. What you choose to do with your body is completely up to you. I know people who literally believe in their head that, if a person doesn't drink, that they're boring, or they think that, if they're at a party and there's no alcohol, then it's boring. And it's really sad. It's honestly sad, people who believe that. And I feel bad for them, because it's like, well, man, you haven't experienced anything that's in life, anything in life that's fun that doesn't have alcohol associated with it. I have a ton of fun, and it does not have to be drinks involved. I can laugh, myself until my stomach is hurting, and it doesn't have to be a drink involved. And so, I'm not telling anybody what to do. If you want to consume your alcoholic beverage, then consume your alcoholic beverage. What I want you to know that is alcohol is a carcinogen. So I want you to know the facts. The fact is alcohol is a carcinogen. And the other fact is that alcohol consumption increases your risk for cancer. And for women, I want them to know alcohol consumption increases their risk for breast cancer. That is my sole purpose of this video. And so if you have watched all the way down to this last moment, thank you so much for watching. And tell me in the comments how you feel about all of this. Now that you know, well, first of all, did you know this already? And if you knew this already, do you still drink alcohol, or what are your thoughts about it? If this is the first time that you have ever heard anything like this, what are your thoughts now that you know? I'm that person, once I know, I can't unknow. So, what type of person are you? All right, guys, thank y'all so much for watching. Continue to like, comment, share, subscribe, okay? Because I am pushing this information out there and you guys want to be a part of it. All right. Thank you. Until next time.